there we have it. We're all going to die under mounds and mounds of plastic because the plastic production, although starting from kind of the 90s, there's this push for better treatment of the environment in several different ways. In the 90s, I believe it was mostly focused on cars, but also plastics in the end. Sure. But over the last 20 years, we have pretty much doubled our consumption or production of plastic, which is not a good sign. It was already quite high, and now it's even higher, and it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight, despite many companies and many different grassroots campaigns promising to reduce plastic, even so much as countries promising to reduce plastic waste. It seems like there is no end in sight for the growth of plastic waste. So they kind of did a bit of research, and they found out that 56 of the top companies of the top companies produce half of the world's plastic. Now, this is a rough number because transparency is also an issue. A lot of these places that produce or use/sell plastic, they don't quite track every piece so well. So they kind of have to rely on a few different sources to figure out where these plastics are coming from. But they have figured out some of the top contenders. The worst one is, do you know it?
I'm going to say Coca-Cola?
Correct, yeah. I think everyone could probably, well, actually, what would I have said before reading this article? I would have probably said like a drink industry. I would
just
think drinks.
Overall.
I'd be like, I'll probably drink somehow. I wouldn't think Starbucks because there's not enough of them. So I'd probably be like, fast food industry. But it got even more specific, calling out Coca-Cola, hey Coca-Cola, not a sponsor, as being responsible for up to 11% of plastic waste in the world.
I believe it.
Yeah. Coca-Cola, man. They might be very happy in one end because they've sold that many, but not so happy with the numbers now because people are becoming more conscious about this. They are starting to wonder, maybe this is not the right way to go. We need to reduce somehow. So there's pressure being put on these companies by both people and the governments that they're under to start and reduce more and more. Will this come to fruition at any time in the future? Hopefully, I guess. But you'll actually have to wait for another article that we're doing today, actually, to see how some people are trying to combat it. However, in the end, we still have a lot of plastic waste and a lot of it coming through. And you know what? A lot of us still use plastic on everyday items, the single-use plastics, or even buying a Coke here and there. Maybe buy Pepsi. I think Pepsi was up there too, so.
Yeah, it's part of the problem.
Yeah, who owns Dr. Pepper?
Dr. Pepper is its own company.
See? Get a Dr. Pepper can. It's metal and it tastes better. Anyways. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into some questions.
Sure.
You ready for this? Why do you think, what factors have given rise to this increase, doubling of plastic use in the last 20 years?
That's a good question. I think in the past few years, food delivery has been a big driver of that. But I don't know. I feel like the tried and true, if we're talking about Coca-Cola, the tried and true glass bottle is so symbolic. And I feel like, what was wrong with that?
Yeah, get some glass back.
Why did we get away from that? So I'm not really sure why. There must be some cost benefit, or it's probably a business thing, I guess.
Maybe it's a weight thing too. Glass is heavier.
Possibly, yeah.
Harder to recycle, maybe. Even though plastic, anyways.
I think you just wash them.
Remember back in the days, before our days, there was the milk bottles that you would wash and put out, and the milkman would refill and everything. We could have the Coke man.
They do
a different type of Coke man.
They do that with the soju bottles here.
Oh, they refill?
The restaurants will put them back in the crates and the beer bottles, send them back to the companies.
Oh, get a little bit
of the whole process, wash them, sterilize them, boom, boom, back in the rotation.
Well, look at that. You know what? Coca-Cola and soju need to do a collaboration. At least the companies.
They often do.
Oh, that's...
that's my weekend.
Yeah. Correct.
Seriously,
They often
a
do,
little-
just not officially.
Yeah, a little soju Coke is actually pretty good.
I've never tried that.
Yeah, you should.
Are you talking about like a little Coke in the soju or a little soju in the Coke?
Depends on how you're feeling that night.
Okay. All right. Well,
Go
I
either
think
way.
today might be a little Coke in the soju day.
But I mean, you're talking about these companies, right? And there are, what, 52 of them,
Yeah,
and they make up most
something.
of it. So do you think they should be held accountable for the amount of plastic waste they're producing and putting out into the
Yeah.
planet? Like,
I think this this might be a controversial view, but the only reason companies make money is because people buy their products. And really, in the end, if you want to change a company or a government, you have to stop buying their products or buying into what they're selling. And so Coca-Cola, yeah, if enough customers come up and say, hey, I love your product, but I just can't get behind plastic anymore, then they're going to change immediately. Like, look at what happened with McDonald's. They raised prices. People said, yeah, it's not it. We're not doing this anymore. And the CEO immediately, oh yeah, okay, we're lower prices now. Companies, they're looking for money, and we have the money. Therefore, we have the power. Yeah, great, we can hold companies accountable, but they have lawyers that can get past any law or regulation. We've seen it for many, many years. We have the power, so...
that's a good point. I think
makes sense.
that's valid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we should hold them accountable somehow, but in the end, it's up to us. As I sit here with my it's mostly metal, but slightly plastic watch, plastic microphone.
True, but that's not your microphone.
That's true. It's not mine. I feel better. Well, make yourself feel better by learning the vocabulary down below, using it in your everyday English, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Versatile.
Versatile.
Litter.
Litter.
Implicate.
Implicate.
Throw away.
Throw away.
Inextricably.
Inextricably.